Welcome to this reflection on the first Sunday of Lent. I'm Betsy Meagher, coming to you live. I'm a sister of St. Joseph, and I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Sunday's gospel is a very familiar one, the temptations of Jesus. Jesus wasn't alone in being tempted. We live amidst many temptations and distractions in our lives today. A temptation that I'm very aware of in myself and in others is to slip into despair and find myself like Moses saying, "Oh, I can't do anything. I don't have the skills." In the last few years, though, we've been enduring political turmoil, a global pandemic, startling levels of misinformation, and in the last couple of weeks since I prepared these reflections, ground war since the first one since in the 1940s. Sometimes despair seems like a reasonable response to these ever-rolling waves of chaos. And yet, Jesus shows us another way to face chaos with courage. In replying to one, Jesus was hungry, and the devil tempted him with turning bread into stones into bread. And in replying, Jesus said, "One does not live by bread alone." Jesus was more interested in transforming the human heart, and more than in the temporary relief of bread into stones. In the second temptation, the devil, or Satan, whose name means accusation and division, invited Jesus to hold the levers of social power through the devilish methods of accusation and division. In rebuking this temptation, Jesus remains steadfast to the one who is the source of all love, the root of all unity. The third temptation is the most subtle of all. In this one, Jesus is asked to force God to provide public credentials for him. If you jump off the pinnacle of the temple and float to the ground, you're good. Rather than succumb to proving his identity, Jesus refuses to put God to the test. How can Jesus' example of courage in the face of temptation help us avoid despair and discouragement in our times? I think it has to do with how I see my identity. Am I a helpless consumer, waiting for God to do all the heavy lifting, or am I willing to do my part and trust that God is using me for the greater good, even though I may not know the long game? How I respond is a choice that I make, and it makes all the difference. How I respond is a choice that I make, and it makes all the difference. Thank you for joining me in these brief reflections, and thanks to Jack Shea for his writing inspirations and my friend Michelle Gossman, who helped prepare and present this reflection today. May God bless you and keep you and walk with you wholeheartedly through your Lenten journey.